Welcome to the Grant Writing Simplified podcast. This is the place to learn how to make a big impact in your community through grant writing and nonprofit consulting. The world needs you to step forward as a grant writer and use your skills to lead with confidence. I'm Teresa Huff, former special ed teacher turned grant writer and nonprofit strategist. In my 20 years of freelancing, I've helped nonprofits triple their funding and exponentially increase their reach. Now I'm stepping up to mentor freelancers and nonprofit leaders like you who are ready to take your skills to the next level. It's time to get intentional about your vision so you can create lasting change in your community. Learn the skills and strategies you need to become the grant writer the world needs. Let's do this. Hey friends, welcome back. I have worked with quite a few nonprofits and grant writers this year, and there's one key thing that so often people are missing, and once they drill down on this, they are so much more impactful in their work. And that is the importance of clarity. I've noticed this lately working with grant writers in the Fast Track to Grant Writer program and helping them gain clarity on their goals and next steps and how they can approach clients. But first they need to be clear on what it is they want to do and the services they want to provide, because without that, it's really hard to convey that to others. And the same is true with nonprofits. As I'm looking through websites or grant applications that they've submitted, a lot of times they are missing that clarity piece and then wondering why people don't want to donate or why funders don't select their application. But getting clarity is at the core of what we do because everything else hinges on it. A lot of times we think we're clear. It's perfectly clear inside my head sometimes, but then when I step back and look at it a little more objectively, I realize, oh, that's kind of a jumbled mess. It's probably not as clear as I thought it was. So whether you are offering your grant writing services, or if you're applying for grants, or if you're explaining your nonprofit's mission and the work you're doing, or if you're outlining a program design for a grant, you must have clarity. Here's the thing, people won't support what they don't understand. If it's unclear, they can't understand it. And if they can't understand it, they're not going to support it. You need to have clarity. The best thing you can do is to help them make an informed decision. Don't cloud it up on your part. Sometimes we're guilty of trying to load everything in. We want to explain all the aspects of the program and all the potential options and all the possible ways we can serve clients. And I've been guilty of this too. I want to make sure I've covered all the bases. I guess that's the analyzer part of my brain. I like to have all the options so that I can think through which ones are the best. But we don't need to overload because people just need a clear path to show this is the important work we're doing. This is how you can support us. This is why we need it. And this is the difference we can make together. See how simple and clear that is? You are laying those stepping stones to help the funder make a direct, simple decision to fund your grant application. The same goes for your website journey. If a potential donor is looking through your website, you're giving them a clear, simple, step-by-step path. In episode 16, when I talked about writing tight and gave you those examples there, that is one way that you can help refine your clarity in your writing. And then last week in episode 94, we talked about positive action writing, making sure you're using words that cast the vision and convey the difference this will make. Sometimes we don't stop to ask if this is clear to others. We get so enmeshed in our work that we just can't imagine it's anything less than perfect. We've poured our blood, sweat, and tears into this, but really, we need to accept the fact that it probably can be refined and polished. We tend to ignore our blind spots, as we talked about in episode 88. Highly recommend you listen to that interview because he had some fascinating tips in there. We need to listen to that feedback And also filter the feedback of who are the people that we can trust to speak truth into our work and into our lives, and which feedback do we need to filter out so we're not just getting bogged down with anything and everything, and then it becomes confusing again and we lack clarity ourselves. So how can you make your writing crystal clear? And how can you cut out the wordy fluff? Those resources I just mentioned will help you do that. You have an important message to convey, whether it's talking about your mission, whether it's cranking out a grant application, whatever it is you're working on, you need to make sure it's clear. I want to share 5 tips of how you can better convey your message with more clarity. Number 1, when you're sitting down to work on something, whether it's a grant application, your website wording, a letter to your donors, whatever it is, decide what is your number 1 goal for this piece of writing. That's the first step. What is your number 1 goal for this? Number 2, outline the key points you want to make. Just put this in a logical order and a framework. I'm not saying have perfect writing here. I'm just saying jot down the key points so that you can keep yourself on track. Make sure you're staying close to those key points as you're writing. Then number 3, go in and fill in the important details. That's where you can explain more about those key points, turn it into complete sentences, make it sound good, all that. Then number 4, this one's kind of the opposite, cut out the fluff, because there is always some in your writing. No matter what you're writing, there's always fluff that can go away. That might be just extra wordiness. It might be passive writing like we talked about last week. It might be just overstating things or using the same word over and over in a sentence. There's always fluff that can be condensed and polished. And then number 5, take action, even if it's imperfectly. Keep taking action, because what have I said so many times? Action brings clarity. And then it kind of has a compounding effect. It creates a cycle. Clarity then helps you be able to take more action, which then brings more clarity. And along the way, you'll be gathering more data, which then helps you take more informed action, and so on. That's the key. So those 5 tips. Number 1, decide what's your top goal for this. Number 2, outline the key points in a logical framework. Number 3, fill in the important details. Number 4, cut out the fluff. And number 5, take imperfect action. If this is something that you're really struggling with, whether it's gaining clarity in your career or in your nonprofit work and how to move forward, then I want to invite you to join me on the Fast Track to Grant Writer or book a strategy call, and let's help you gain the clarity you need. Your mission is too important to let it stall out and sit there for lack of clarity. All right, as usual, I like to leave you with a challenge question. Where do you need to refine your work for more clarity? And how will you take action on that this week? I would love to hear about it, so shoot me a message on LinkedIn or on my website contact form, and let's keep the conversation going. Now, if you are struggling with clarity around your grant writing, make sure you go over and take my quiz, Do You Have What It Takes to Be a Grant Writer, at teresahuff.com/quiz. That will help you determine next steps, and it will help you gain clarity so you can take action. All right, friends, shout out to Instrumental for their support of today's show and of grant writers and our work that we're doing. They have made some amazing tools, so I recommend you go check those out. Have a great week and go change your world.